It's cold and it's raining outside. You know what that means? Chili. Don't laugh. You don't even eat chili. What's wrong with you? Gosh. Some people, you just never know. You can't please everyone. She doesn't even like meat. Anyway, we're making chili tonight. We're going to start out with a base of 2-alarm chili. And then from there, we can add what we want to. Remember the rule. If you don't like it, change it. We're going to be using ground beef and Jimmy Dean's spicy hot sausage and sirloin steaks. Change it up however you want to. If you wanted to use all ground beef or half sausage, half ground beef. You could do white chili with chicken and pork if you wanted. It's up to you. We'll be using 4 pounds of meat, and I'll be doubling what the actual recipe calls for. And we'll be changing it up. I've got 3 boxes of the 2-alarm chili. It calls for us to use water. I'll be using beer instead. We're going to need to cut up the steak and then go ahead and get our pot ready and get all the meat in there. For me personally, I like to have cubed meat in my chili, so I go ahead and cut up the sirloin. If any of my high school friends are out there watching this, yes, this was our woodshop project from the 10th grade. Still using it. My mom used this cutting board for years. I had to thaw the meat in the microwave, so there's a little bit of discoloration on the top of it. But it's normal. It'll cook just fine. We are almost done cubing the meat, and then we'll add hamburger meat and sausage. And then we'll start putting in the spices. All right, we need to go through all of our different ingredients that come in the 2-alarm chili packs, because some of it we're not going to need right now. Mesa comes in at the end, and you don't want to throw all this red pepper in there. That's paprika. There it is. Set the red pepper and the mesa aside. We will not be needing it right now. But we'll start out with everything else. And we may want to add to it. I know we're definitely going to add more chili powder to it. So we'll open up the other box and get that chili powder out. Pepper out. Alright, I'm going to use 3 boxes of the 2-alarm chili just because I'm looking for some extra flavor out of it. Really zest it up, kind of like we did with the ranch dressing. So I'm going to go ahead and cut all this stuff up, and then we'll add it to the pot and get to cooking. Alright, got our meat in the pot. I'm just going to be mixing it together for a little bit here. I like to mix the meat up before I add the seasonings to it. The instructions actually call for you to brown the meat before you add water and seasoning. I've always thought that was kind of silly. Never understood it. Every time I cook steak or barbecue or something, I always season the meat before I cook it. So I season my chili meat before I cook it. So as I cook and the meat starts to dry out, it'll suck in all the flavors from all of these great seasonings we have here. Also, to add just a little bit of moisture to it, I'm going to go ahead and add 1 bottle of the Shinor Bock dark beer. I'll be cooking on about 3 just to try and brown the meat. We'll start out there anyway. If I got to turn it up, I'll turn it up. All right, go ahead and add a bottle of beer to it. Yum. Get all these seasonings, beer all mixed together. Be sure to get into the corners because your seasonings will try to hide down there and stick to the sides with the beer. Then we may need to add more beer to it. Looks like it's sucked up a lot of the beer already. All right, let's get our fire started. One of the things we're looking for as we cook the meat is that it still has moisture in it, but down here in the bottom, that we're not getting any of the seasoning stuck to the side and burning it. If you turn your heat up too high too soon, you'll start smelling burnt seasoning. That's not what you want. You can always add some more beer to it if you want to for more moisture, but I think being nice and sticky like this, it's doing all right. I turned the heat up just a little bit. We're on 4 right now. All right, we've been browning the meat for about 15 minutes now. It's starting to have a little bit of a red tint to it because of all the chili powder that's cooking into it. As you can see, we don't have anything burned in the bottom of it, but it is time to go ahead and add the tomato sauce and the beer. Let it start cooking up with that. Since we've doubled all of the ingredients, we have to double the amount of water, in this case beer, and tomato sauce. So it's 2 cans of that. And you need approximately 32 ounces of water, but I'm going to add 36 ounces of beer. Michael's here to help.
Yeah. What can I do?
You can stir if you want to. Just hold on to the side here. Make sure you're getting the bottom of that beer getting in. There you go. Good job. What's wrong? What are we doing over there? What's funny?
I just really want to make sure you stir in a clockwise manner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste the same if you stir it this way.
I want to make sure it's done. Right.
All right. Meat is brown and beer is boiling.
All right. I'd like to thank Michael for stirring in the beer.
Thank
He
you for
did
having me.
Did an excellent job there.
Thank you. It was wonderful. Had a great time.
Next week, Mark Ruffalo will be here to help us cook. Apparently he's out of work. But he still wants to be on television. We're going to go ahead and bring this to a boil. And then I'm going to turn it down and let it simmer for a while. It's been simmering now for about 20 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and add 1 package of the red pepper to it. You don't want to add just a whole lot because we have the spicy Jimmy Dean sausage in there, so it's already going to be plenty hot. And remember, just like salsa, when you add heat to it, it's not going to be as hot on the night that you make it, but once it sits for 24 hours, it's going to go up at least 20 to 30% heat. We're going to let this keep simmering for another 30 minutes. All right, we've been simmering for about 30 minutes now. You can tell it's still very liquidy. We're going to go ahead and add the mesa. That's what it's for, is to absorb a lot of the moisture that's in there. Now this part gets a little tricky because you want to keep continually stirring it while adding the mesa. So this is more for an advanced cooking class. You can tell I've had years of practice. There we go. You got to make sure you get it in there and really shake it up. And don't forget, constantly stirring while you're doing this. See? And moving it in there. Sometimes it takes a little practice, but you'll get the hang of it. Well, that was fun. I'm glad we had Michael helping us there. You do not have to continually stir while adding the mesa, but you do want to make sure that it is stirred up. I've smashed it all against the sides here. And then let it sit for, 10 minutes or so. Let it really thicken up. But it should be ready to eat in just a few minutes. All right, we finished cooking the chili, and now Michael's going to make himself up a bowl. Go ahead and tell us what it's like.
All right.
How much you got in there?
Huh?
You don't have very much in there.
I'm taste testing.
Oh.
Delicioso.
Just wanted to review real quick everything we did in the chili cooking video, and to thank Michael and Landry for getting silly in there. Now you wanted to get silly, so I said okay. We have 4 bottles of Shinor Bock beer, 4 pounds of meat. We had 3 boxes of the 2-alarm chili mix and 2 cans of tomato sauce. We also added in about a half a cup of jalapeno juice and a couple extra tablespoons of salt at the end there when I was mixing it. Remember, when you're tasting the chili while it's cooking, it's not going to taste the same as it will after it's set for a while. I ate mine and I'm very full right now, but I let it sit for about an hour to really let the flavor just soak into what was there. Also, it's going to get a little hotter overnight, so the next time you go to get to it, if it's a little hotter, don't even worry about it. But be sure to add your cheese and your onions, and never ever put beans in your chili. Thanks for watching.
Got a question for you. What's in your chili?
Ingredients and see where it takes us. Mr. Bobo, are you going to help?
Hi, YouTubers.
Hold on.
All we could see was from your mouth down.
Alright.
Get our pot ready and get all the meat in there. Oh, hi. Need to get down, buddy.
Chili's a good dish. One that's really easy to make. Whether you're at your friend's house, or it could be your weird neighbor Chuck's barbecue, regardless. It's a great dish. For the soul. Cut those onions, Russ. Look at Bobo. Some onions. It's chili.
And it's good. I know, but you don't need to help us. In this particular video, the cat has come to help. Hey, Mr. Bobo.
Hi, YouTubers. Welcome back to Staring with Michael. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yes, that's right, YouTubers. You can cook just like Michael. These 3 easy steps. No more steps. We're not even going to tell them the steps. That's real talent right there.
It is. And after you add some onions, the next thing you're going to do is add some more onions. So, just get you a pinch. Sprinkle it in like so. Or, you know, if you like onions, a couple pinches. And then to top it off, you're going to want to have some original salted premium crackers. Usually a whole stick works just fine, but for the sake of the video, I'm just going to take half a stick. And if you're a real talented chili eater, use the chips like a scoop, you know? Just
Those are crackers.
same thing. But if you want to, you can use chips because Fritos work just as good. You can make a Frito pie.
Also recommended are tortilla chips.
Tortilla chips, yep.
Chili is also good in there.
And if you're real experimental, you know, some Cheetos, maybe some Doritos. It just really just depends on your taste buds and how they react to what you eat. But for me, I'm gonna keep it real with the saltines. And sometimes you can even give them a little crunch like that. Sprinkle it in, just as I'm doing. Real small, like you're grinding up pepper, sort of. And just make sure you really get it all in the chili. Remember, this is after the chili is cooked. This is the serving portion. You're going to really want to sprinkle that in there. and see if you can tell there's definitely not enough crackers in there, so you're going to want to add some more. This is just, you know, getting those crackers to soak up some of the juices, give that really rich, salted, delicious, spicy chili that you're looking for. Remember, just like pepper, you really want to sprinkle it in there. Sometimes you might get it on the counter, but every last crumb. You're really just going to want to mash it in there like so. It's going to start to thicken, you know, that's the saltines really soaking up the chili, giving it that rich flavor that you're looking for. And then after that, your chili is ready to be served. Oh, that's some chili.